People don't need more motivation. No, they don't. They need more focus. They really need more focus. They need to frame focus as, protecting our attention from getting rented out over and over and over again. Because that's all it is. That's all it is. So today viewers gonna learn why focus slips constantly, the top focus killers, a simple framework, and the weekly challenge to help you move forward to the next step. My name is Queen A, the Clarity Coach, guys. So if you don't know me, my goal is to help individuals just like you overcome self-doubt and plant seeds in your mind to help you water yourself with the principles we have here so you can build your confidence with clarity. Okay? Now, today we're going to be talking about focus as a trainable principle and not a personality trait. Everybody thinks focus is a personality trait, but it's not. It's a trainable principle that anybody can learn. You, me, doesn't matter the age. It really doesn't. Anybody can be taught to focus. Okay? And because you got to understand, focus will determine your mood, whether you feel bad or sad or anything of that nature. Focus is going to determine that. Focusing is going to determine your bank account, right? Focus determines your bank account, whether you have money in the bank or get into the bag. Focus also dictates your relationship. What kind of relationships are you having at the moment? Focus determines that. And it also determines whether you're healing or not. And most importantly, it determines your health physically and mentally. Okay? So what is focus? You have to understand what focus is. Focus is deciding what matters the most and protecting it. Like really protecting it. Keeping it close and keeping it tight. Focus is not just about attention. It is direction. Because we put our attention on things all the time. Think about that for a second. We tend to put our attention on a lot of things. But we don't seem to have any direction if you look around. People do not have direction. But they're putting a lot of attention into things. So focus is not attention. It is direction. Okay? Understand that. You got to ask yourself, am I losing focus on what matters for my next level of life? Am I? Or am I on the path and on the right, moving in the right direction for where I need to be going? We need to ask ourselves these questions, but we don't tend to ask ourselves these questions. Why don't we ask ourselves these questions, right? Because it's for the simple fact, a lot of us tend to think that focus is not about what matters the most to us. Think about this for a second. People focus, they think focus is about everything else. People focus on drama nowadays. There's a lot of focus being geared towards drama. We see that when we're seeing a lot of these content creators and things of that nature. Where's their attention at? It's everywhere. Anywhere who has drama, they don't have a lane. Unless if it's drama, that's where they'll be. But there's no really direction to where a lot of these people are going. That's why you see they go in Walmart, they go in in any store and just act a fool. Why? Because their attention is not directed in a certain area. But we have to get our attention back in line and directed. We have to understand that. So we need to start asking ourselves, am I focused on what matters for my next level? What is your next level? In order for you to even know if you're focusing on what matters for your next level, you have to even know what your next level is. But the problem is, most of us have no clue where our next level is. Now, think about that for a second. A lot of us, we tend to stay motivated, but we still have no clue about where we are headed. Why is that? Because we just told you right here that focus is not about motivation. It's not. It's about moving in a specific direction, and understanding, most importantly, what direction that you need to be moving in. That's what it's about right there. And see, our brain loves comfort. Our brain loves to protect us. That's why it's hard for us to focus, because our brain loves comfort. Think about it, our brain loves scrolling. Why does it love scrolling? Because it keeps us comfortable. We see things, we laugh at it, or we like, oh my God, we shocked. But it keeps us comfortable. It keeps us snacking on things that we know is unhealthy for us. Why? Why? Because it keeps us comfortable. Our brain loves comfort. It keeps us snacking on things. It keeps us staying small and playing it safe. Why do it keeps most of the world staying small and playing safe? I'll tell you why. Because with the reason why it has most of the world staying small and playing it safe is because most people, they want to feel comfortable and they're scared to get out of their comfort zone. And the moment that they feel the comfort leaving, they start backing up, back into the comfort. And if you agree, or if that's ever been you, or if you know anybody, or that sounds like anybody, drop it in the comments. Because I can tell you now, it was me. It was me for a second. And it's still me in certain areas. I'm constantly growing. Why? Because our brain loves to be comfortable. And that's why a lot of us can't focus and grow and have clarity, because we want to be comfortable. We got to understand that. And another thing is your environment. Your environment right here trains your attention. So your environment trains your attention. That's why I talk heavily about what people, places, and things are you surrounding yourself with. Because that right there, whatever people you're around, whoever you're talking to on a daily basis, whatever places you're going to on a daily basis, right? Whatever you're listening to on a daily basis, that is what is going to dictate your attention. I can tell me the people you hang around, tell me what you watch and what you listen to, and I could tell you where your attention is mostly at. If you ain't doing nothing but binge watching baddies all day, I could tell you where your attention is mostly at. A lot of people are like, oh my God, like that. Think about it. It's the difference between binge watching baddies and just watching the episode. So if you telling me that you spend most of your days watching baddies episode and you know every specific thing about the baddies episode, but you don't know about your credit or how to build your credit or things or how to build your own business or how to even, even because a business ain't for everybody, right? But how to even apply and be in the job that you desire. I got to understand, a noisy space equals a noisy mind. Think about this. If you in a space and it's like the TV blaring and the music is on and the kids is constantly saying mama, mama, or daddy, or anybody's just patting you like this, and you trying to study, you be like, hey, all right, cut it out. You almost go crazy. Why do you think that is? Because a noisy space equals a noisy mind. And there is no way around that. But a lot of people don't understand that. They wondering why their mind is so noisy and so loud, and it seems like it's screaming at them. But they're not looking at their space. How their space is noisy. Right? They have the music on, the TV on, the kids yelling. They ain't even dedicated a space or even had a talk with everybody else in the home so we all can be on the same page. And when mama's studying, I'm studying. I'm going to tell you this also. A noisy space can also be a cluttered space. When you have too many things in your area, like you looking around, it's dirty or just cluttered everywhere, that can be another reason why you have a noisy mind. Too many things going on in your mind. Oh, man. Because you're thinking about cleaning up, picking this up. Oh, my gosh. Every time I sit down, I see this this get my nerves. You know you need to clean up or straighten up, but you just ain't got to it because it's so much that you need to get to and do. So that's another way of that too as well. Understand this. And reaction steal the mode of the day. So reactions steal how you act for the day. Think about it. If you're constantly, when you're getting notifications of other people's set agendas before your day even starts, you getting other notifications from other people in their day before your day even starts. You reading it. So think about that for a second. If that's the case, then that means you might get notifications of somebody being depressed, notifications of somebody being aggravated, notifications somebody just killed themselves, notifications that you late on this, a notification and guess what that does? It dictates your day and your agenda before you even do. You ain't even meditated yet. You ain't journaled yet. You ain't did nothing yet that you need to do. Nothing that you need to do at all. Yet, for some reason, you ain't did nothing that you need to do at all. You looking at everybody, all these pings though, all these notifications, and you wondering why your agenda is thrown off, your day is thrown off. Because you already started your day on the wrong foot. You worried about everybody else's agenda instead of your own. That's why. Just telling you. Okay? So you got to understand that you don't just need discipline. You need discipline, yes, but you don't just need discipline. What are you being disciplined at if you don't have a system? Because that's what you need. You need a system so you can even understand what you're being disciplined at. Because you're disciplined right now at scrolling. Maybe you're disciplined right now at joining groups that don't have nothing to do with what you seeking or the direction you being in, right? So we got to understand these things right here. So you got to ask yourself, do I just got disciplined? Am I just disciplined, or do I actually have a system as well? Because it's a difference. You don't just need to be disciplined. You actually need a system. So if you I've been disciplined, but you ain't got no system, you still going to catch yourself on a hamster wheel. Because I can tell you a time where I was disciplined. And kept going live and kept doing these, I kept speaking. This was a few years, kept going live, kept speaking. But I had no system. So I had no clue what I was speaking on. I was just speaking because I love to speak. That was before I was Queen A, the clarity coach, right? I was Queen A, but I wasn't a clarity coach at that time. So I was disciplined at going live and speaking, but I had no system and no clue who I was speaking to or what I was really speaking on. So you can't just be disciplined. You actually need a system as well. And with that being said, we're going to go into the 3 focus killers. Because I know a lot of people want to know, what are the 3 focus killers? And if you one of them people, it's hard for you to focus, you may want to write this down, the 3 focus killers. So number 1, you got too many open loops. Okay? What do I mean by that? You got too many mental browsers open. You know how I always talk about when people say one door shuts, another one opens? Well, I like to talk about how sometimes, most of the time, we can't focus because we have too many doors open, too many mental tabs open, and we need to understand how to delete, right? Not even delete, but exit out of them open tabs, meaning close them open doors and that's in our head. Get rid of them thoughts. We need to understand how to do that. So if you want to get it out of your head, write it out on paper. If you're like, well, how am I going to get it out of my head? Write it on paper. That's why I talk so much about journaling. Because, see, most of us, what we will do is we will keep these mental doors open in our head. And then we wonder why we're not focused, why we're cluttered, why we're all over the place. Well, sweetie, you got to write that stuff down, get it on paper, so you can understand where to even put your focus at and what door to close, right? so you can understand which door to focus on. So, and then killer number two is emotional noise. Emotional noise. Because you got to understand, overload makes attention unstable. So when you overload it on emotions, think about this for a second. Have you ever encountered somebody, they're angry, then they're mad, they're frustrated, they're crying, they're all over the place? Or their attention, is their attention directed, or is it all over the place? I think we all can agree, or type it in the comments. I believe we all can agree that it's all over the place. So you have to understand that emotional noise is clutter. Emotional noise is clutter, and it will cause you to be stressed. So we have to get rid of all them browsers that's open in our head, close them, by writing them down and getting them out on paper. Getting them out on paper. All right, so regulate first, then execute. How you regulate? Writing it down on paper so you can analyze and understand which ones to focus on. So mental noise, too many doors open in our head, regulate first by getting it down on paper, writing it in a journal, and then understanding from there which ones to execute on. That's how you do that. And killer number 3, which is one that I think we all, and if you've experienced any of these, write down in the comments which one of these pertains to you, or which one of these can you relate with the most. For me, it's number 3, invisible agreements. Being overly available for everyone. And then saying yes out of guilt. I don't know if anybody else ever experienced that, but I have. I've experienced that. Saying yes, being overly available. For some reason, I felt like every time somebody asked me to be there for their company, because, because I really wanted to help them, that I had to say yes. I kept doing that. I kept saying yes. Yes, I'll be there. I found myself so booked and busy for everybody else. Meanwhile, for myself and my goals and my dreams, it was crickets. Nothing was getting done. And more so, when I would come to these people and ask for things, it would be crickets. But they constantly want me to, do things with them. So you have to understand how to, protect your priority like it's your paycheck. I had to understand, like, okay, it's time to protect my priority because it is a paycheck. If I'm overly available to everybody, I'm overly available and I'm giving everybody all this great information, but nobody's paying. Guess what? That's a problem. That is a problem, especially when you are a for-profit. So I had to think differently and say, okay, I need to protect my priority like it's my paycheck, because it is. Whatever I prioritize, that's what I'm going to get paid for. So when I was prioritizing being everywhere, overly available, when I was prioritizing that, overly saying yes, that's what happened. The paychecks was none. Why? Because I wasn't focused. I had no direction. I was everywhere, but nowhere. So how do we overcome this? We overcome this by utilizing the FOCUZ framework. So write this down. Write this down if you got pen and paper. Don't forget, this channel right here, don't just listen. Utilize the principles that we teach right here. So write this down right here, the FOCUZ framework. The F is for find the one priority that moves the needle. Okay, find the one priority that moves the needle. Okay, because remember how I just said before, when we try to focus on everything, we catch ourselves focusing on nothing. So find the one thing, not 10. Find the one thing that moves the needle and focus on that. Because remember, if you try to focus on 10, you're going to catch yourself focusing on none, on zero, zero. I'm just saying, that's what you're going to catch yourself focusing on. Okay? The O is for organize your environment. Clear one surface, okay? Clear one surface. I don't care if it's a corner, a bed, the kitchen, the whatever, a drawer, but clear. Ugh, I was like, clear one surface. So organize your environment. Put the phone out of reach. I know everybody like, what? Put my phone, Queen A is tripping now. No, put it out of reach. Why I say put it out of reach? Because we're organizing our environment. And if it's in reach, you're going to catch yourself constantly grabbing for it. Constantly grabbing for it, especially if a notification go off. You're going to grab for it. Most of us will. Now, it's a few of us that won't because why we've been training our brain. But for the most part, most of us know that we'll grab our phone. So put your phone over to the side. It's okay. It's going to be okay. All right. And we have to use timers. So one of my things that I'm looking forward to is actually buying a timer. So I work out with my phone and I use a timer on my phone, but I'm using the timer on my phone. And one of the things, my goal is, okay, Queen A, it's time to get a timer. That way I don't have to use my phone. I don't have to pick up my phone if I use a timer and I'm working out. I don't have to pick up my phone if I'm using a timer for reading or journaling or whatever it is. I don't have to use my phone. So organize your environment. Okay? The C is for cut the noise. Cut the noise. Stop thinking you multitasking because there actually is no such thing as multitasking. Think I'm lying? Look it up. You're not multitasking. What are you actually doing? You're jumping from one task to the next. And prime example, when I was speaking, I was speaking at Ohio Media, and I had a student tell me, she raised her hand when I said, oh, there's no such thing as multitasking. She said, oh, I can. I do it all the time. And I had to break it down for her how there's no such thing. And she said, I got the baby. I said, well, tell me what you multitasking do. She said, I could feed my baby, wash clothes, and cook all at the same time. And I broke this down for her. And I want you to think of this too, for anybody who actually thinks that they're doing this and they're multitasking, right? You're not multitasking. You're jumping in between tasks because you're not doing them all at the same time. Think of this for a second, right? And this is one thing. I didn't even know my necklace was in there. Look at that. Didn't even know my necklace was in there the whole time. I just felt something in there. I'm like, oh. So just think about this for a second, right? Say you think you're doing the same thing that the lady told me she did. Now you're putting your clothes in a dryer or the washer. You're putting your clothes in a washer. Do you really have your baby? Are you really feeding your baby while you're putting the clothes in a washer? And are you really, cooking or washing? Because she told me she was cooking, washing, and feeding the baby at one time. And are you really stirring the pot while you're putting the clothes in there? No. What you're doing is you're cooking, then you're going to the washer, and then you're feeding the baby, and then you're going to the washer and you're cooking, and then probably thinking like, oh my God, I hope I ain't burned this. Oh, you know what? I got to feed. That's what you're doing. Why? Because it is mentally impossible for our brains to multitask. Why do you think when we're trying to actually see something clearly, we could be in the car trying to see something clearly, we'll turn the music down? Music ain't got nothing to do, or ears, we believe ain't had nothing to do, like they ain't got nothing to do with hearing, but it's all connected. So we'll turn the music down to to see more clearly. Because there's no such thing as multitasking. Our brain cannot listen to the music and like try to pay attention to what's going on very clearly. That's why you turn the music on. Because your brain like, okay, we need to turn that down so I can just focus on this. Even our brain understands that we need to put attention on something, especially when it's important. Okay? So, C, cut the noise, all right? No scrolling, all that doom scrolling, cut it out. We be thinking like, what she mean doing, stop scrolling for free. You just scrolling. You're like, what, ain't even, and then ain't without even permission. You ain't even give yourself to scroll that long. You told yourself you was going to scroll for 10 minutes, and that's what you gave yourself permission to scroll for. But some kind of way, you catch yourself scrolling for 2 hours. You know about everything that's going on. You know what? Oh, my God. They happened. What? She did this. Ooh, girl, it's getting juicy. You catch yourself clicking on other people's pages you don't even know. You down the rabbit hole, clicked on somebody else's page, and then clicked on somebody else's page from their page. Who done did that before? I know I have. I ain't gonna lie to you. And I know some of y'all had too. Don't be on this video purpose like we ain't the only person did it, because I know y'all did it too. Okay? So that's the scene. All right, because remember this, if it's not a hell yes now, it's a hell no now. Okay? So if it's not a hell yes right now, it's definitely a hell no right now. I'm just saying. That's how you understand and how to cut the noise. By understanding that if it's not a hell yes right now, it's a hell no. Okay. The U is use time blocks. Create protected time. Create time where you say, you know what, I'm gonna put 25 minutes right here, and I'm gonna work out for 25 minutes, and then I'm gonna rest for 5 minutes. Or whatever it is. We're working out, that one makes sense. So let's say we're working out, you say they do sets. We do sets for working out. So you say, you know what, and this how working out go. I'm gonna do maybe 15 push-ups, and then I'm gonna rest for a couple of seconds, for 10 seconds. Then I'm gonna do another 15 push-ups, and I'm gonna rest for 15 seconds. Then I'm gonna do another set 15 push-ups, and I'm gonna rest. But them are called sets. And in life, we got to understand we have to do that in real time with everything. We got to utilize time blocks, create protected time. Whether it's, you know what, I'm going to spend time with my family. Well, then utilize that time. Make time for that and do it every week if you can, the same time every week. Set these times. If you're going to do view time with your family, okay, every Friday at 5 o'clock is family time. And then when it comes to working, utilize your time. I'm going to study for 25 minutes, then I'm going to rest for 5 minutes. Then I'm going to study for another 20 minutes, or I'm going to rest for 10 minutes, or however it is. But if you study for 25 or work for 25, you say, I'm going to dedicate myself for 25 minutes. Make sure if I'm doing exactly what I need to be doing, at least for 25 minutes. And I'm going to rest for 5 minutes. And you repeat that at least 25, not 25 times, at least 3 times. Guess what? How many minutes is that? That is 75 minutes. Do y'all know how many minutes that is, dear? That's an hour and 15 minutes that you have dedicated to whatever project it is, just by doing 25 minutes at a time and resting for 5 minutes. But most of us, we won't even think that far ahead. We'll think, if like somebody said to study for an hour and 15 minutes, like, well, that's a long time. Or work for an hour and 15 minutes. But we'll scroll for 2 hours without getting nothing from it. So that's the U. The Z is zero excuses. Zero excuses and gentle execution, guys. Zero excuses. We in. So if you know Queen A by now, if y'all look and you watch me the way I post, I substitute my S's for a Z. Okay? The Z. So like focus, it's usually FOCUS. But with us, it's FOCUZ. So the Z is zero excuses. None. Don't give yourself no excuses. Don't allow yourself to have excuses. Discipline yourself without self-hate. Don't get mad, meaning that, discipline yourself, but don't be mad if you break it. If you say, I'm going to work out for 25 minutes today, and you only worked out for 15 minutes. Don't get mad and start hating, what, I do this all the time. I'm just, I ain't going to ever be able to work out. I'm just never going to be able to do it. I'm just give up. Don't be so mad at or harsh on yourself. What you should say is, what, I'm grateful that I at least last for 15 minutes. Now just know tomorrow I'm going to last even longer. The next time I do it, I'm going to last longer. I'll do 16 minutes. And the next time, 17 minutes. But that's how you do that. We get so hard on ourselves. Don't be hard on yourself. Remember, zero excuses. Don't give yourself, don't give yourself any excuses. But at the same time, be gentle with yourself. The execution, be gentle. Because nothing's going to change overnight. It's a process. So that means sometimes you may feel like you failed. Don't be so hard on yourself. Remember, failures is life lessons. It just shows you what didn't work so you can know what will, or how to align things and switch things around so it can work. But don't be hard on yourself. It's not worth it. You got to understand and tell yourself, I am learning how to lead myself right now. That's what I'm learning how to do. I'm learning how to lead myself at this time. That's how you do it. And then if you learn how to lead yourself, guess what you have to do? Zero excuses with gentle execution. I'm not going to be hard on myself for messing up. I'm not going to be hard on myself if it didn't work out the way as I thought it was. I'm not going to be hard on myself if the technology mess up. I'm not going to be hard on myself if I missed a video. I'm not going to be hard on myself if I forgot to reach out. I'm not going to be hard on myself if I got afraid to reach out. And the reason why I'm telling y'all this right here is because I remember a time for me when I was so busy. Like I told you earlier, I was busy. I'm talking about I was booked and busy for everybody. Everybody. Why? Because I just felt like, I wanted to get the Queen A name out there, and I wanted everybody to, and then they actually did me a favor because I really wanted to see, and I got to really see, do my framework work? Do I inspire people? Are people really getting clarity from me? Am I really planting seeds? So trust me when I say nothing that I have done is like, no, it's all beneficial. It was never for no reason. So I'm not here to say, you know what, I wasted. No, I don't feel like I wasted time. I feel like I wasted focus. I didn't waste time. I wasted my focus, what I did with the time. Right? Meaning I was there for everybody else, but at the same time, my focus was not there. Because had I been focused, I wouldn't have been there, most of them. Had I been focused, I would have understood that, guess what? I only need to be, yeah, it's okay. Yes, I want to be out there and I want to still speak and do things for free, but not all the time. Not all the time. Or what do people, I want to make sure that they're valuing my time. And also making sure that I'm getting my team together as well. And we are growing with the framework. Because I have a team. For those who don't know, so I do have a royal assistant, and I do have a royal marketer, and I do have a royal receptionist. My bad, y'all, Miss King. No, but I do have a royal receptionist as well. And so my goal has always been with the team is to make sure that we all grow. And it was a point to where my team would come to me like, hey, you know what? Are we focused on them and everybody else, or are we focusing on us? What are we doing here? Because it seems like you're focused on everybody else, but we don't have nothing going for the team. And I'm the owner and the CEO, but my team had to pull me back in to get me back on track and get me focused. Like, hey, what are we doing here? What I was overly extending myself to everybody, saying yes out of guilt. Like, man, if I say no, they're gonna be mad, they're gonna be sorry. But guess what? It don't matter. I can't please everybody. I'm not ever going to make everybody happy. And I had to understand that that's okay. And once I came into that realization, baby, let me tell you, that was the best thing I ever done, because I was booked and busy, but I wasn't building nothing. I didn't have nothing built for my own team, for our own company, for S&B Sense. I didn't have no framework built. I didn't have none of, I didn't know what I was speaking about. Now I do. I didn't have my Clarity Mastermind starter kit. I didn't have my Seeds of Clarity Mastermind, which, will be coming out in May. I didn't have these things. I didn't have group coaching. That's the Seeds of Clarity Mastermind. I didn't have that. I was out here just like, okay, I could be there, but I was nowhere. I had no system, and I wasn't building anything. And most importantly, I won't say I wasn't building anything. I did build relationships that I do cherish very dearly. But when it comes to the business, it was like nothing was getting done. It was like little baby inch steps. And if you know Queen A, I think big. I always have. And I want you to too. That's why I start teaching about clarity. The only way people can dream big and think big is if they have clarity. Okay? So now this is the weekly challenge. All right, so First, I want you to choose one priority for the week. Write it down and keep it in front of you. So choose one priority, write it down, but don't write it down and put it in your drawer. Don't write it down and fold it up and put it in your pocket. Write it down, tape it up on your wall, put it, I don't care what you do with it, but keep it in front of you, somewhere that you look on the daily. Okay? And then step number 2, I want you to create a daily 45-minute focus block. Okay? For 45 minutes, this time, every day if I can. Do it at the same time if you can every day. If not, that's fine. But the reason why I say do it at the same time every day, because remember, what we're creating? A system. And in order to have a system, your mind has to understand, okay, it's time to do this now. Like, for instance, prime example. If everybody just chose when nighttime was, we all wouldn't agree that nighttime is when it's dark. Because some people would think nighttime is during the day. Now, don't get me wrong, some people go to sleep during the day, but we all can agree that nighttime is when it's dark. But if some people was able to say nighttime was when it's dark, and some people was able to say nighttime was when it was the daytime, there would be no clarity. And it would be a lot of arguing and confusion on just simply when we should go to sleep at night. Okay? So we have to create a daily 45-minute focus block, something to focus on. Same day, every time, so our mind can get used to it. Write it down and don't take it out of your sight, okay? Whether it's putting your phone away. I know I hear people with that, with putting the phone away. Okay, all right, y'all. If y'all want to do that, find a little area to protect. Protect your space. Set your area up for success. If you look behind me right here, so if you wonder why I was right here, so if you look right here, right, this is my little display desk. And I'm going to give me some little pictures on the side because I see the walls look bare. So I'm going to give me some little inspirational quotes. I already have them in there. Matter of fact, I have them right here, down here. And I'm going to put them up here. Okay? And if you think I don't have them, I really do. So I'm going to show you. I really do have inspiration quotes. Okay? So you see this one, it say, you didn't come this far just to come this far, okay? So you didn't come this far to come this far. And this is for you if you watching this. Remember, we talking about focus. You didn't come this far to come this far, okay? So, and I am going to put them up on the side right there. But my spot, you know why I set this up like this right here? I set it up as so I can remember the importance of the mission and what I'm doing it for, and see how much I have accomplished just in these last 2 years since I've been taking this serious. I left my 9 to 5 2 years ago. And now look at me. I'm an author. I have my own book, right? I have my own book. We have our own journals. We have our own work guides, our own clarity course. We're out here teaching in schools. We're out here teaching in group homes, speaking on stages. You know, and that's my logos I had painted for me. I paid almost $400 for that. It's very detailed. I love it. But shout out to my author. But no. But I just say that to say that you got to understand that creating spaces that's dedicated for you is important. So create 45 minutes of dedication to whatever it is, whether it's getting you a space together, whether it's, I'm 45 minutes to reach out, 45 minutes for me to do this application and work on it and make sure I just dedicate my time to it. 45 minutes to learning about finances, whatever it is. One. All right? Because remember, you started with the one priority. And then the last thing, but not least, is nightly 5-minute reset. Ask yourself, what distracted me today? What distracted me today? What helped me today? Okay? Like, what distracted me today? What helped me today? What helped me stay, locked in? And then, what can I do tomorrow? Like, what can I adjust for tomorrow and tweak so tomorrow can be better? So that's what you're going to ask yourself. Ask yourself that right there, okay? So now, if you serious, comment FOCUZ in the comments if that's going to be you this week. I want to see a lot of focuses in this comment, all right? If that's going to be you this week, you ready to lock in and get focused, I should be seeing a lot of focuses in the comments of this video right here. All right. And also share this video with anybody else that you may want to help get locked in and get focused and move on to the next step. Okay. Because remember, anybody who keeps starting over, if they're doing the same thing every Monday, they need this video. They need focus. And if that's you, you definitely needed this video. And I would hope that I was able to plant a little seed and water your mind and bring you a little bit more clarity about focus in order to build your confidence. Just a little bit more, a teeny bit, right? Okay. So now, also, if you're ready to take it to the next step and you're like, you know what, I want deeper training on focus, make sure that you click on the link in the description of this video and join my Clarity Mastermind Starter Kit, which is an online do-it-at-your-own-pace course. All right. And if nobody else loves you, remember, Queen A does. Don't forget to like and subscribe